All right, Israel, the Save America Act, it's going to trickle down, man. You know, it's a proposed federal election security bill that requires voters to provide documentary, document, documentary proof of U.S. citizenship, such as birth certificate or passport, to register to vote in federal elections. And everything is going to go federal. Basically, its whole place is a confederacy. So what happens there is going to trickle down to the American citizens, and it's going to be, they still got the ISIS thing, and so it's going to lead up to the MOTB because it's going to, any major event that happens, they're going to be like, well, we got to definitely make sure that you're an American citizen, or where you from, what's your background, how long you've been living. That's probably not even going to matter, if you're born from somewhere else, but you've been living here for 20 years and you got family and all that, friends, and they're going to still be like, yo, you still from, you still got to get this new American ID citizenship approval, which is basically going to lead it to the MOTB. Right here it says voters identification, such more. We're giving all praises to Yahweh by Shem Yahweh Shai. Real quick video. To Yahweh by Shem Yahweh Shai, all praises. Continue to exalt those names, Yahweh. He is the be Yahweh Shai, he that delivers. And also always say in the name, of the Holy Spirit, double honors to the apostle, elder bishops, the great millstone, one salutation to the brothers teaching the word for the hopeful elect, soon to be the elect, most high will. And to the hopeful extended elect, shalom, blessings. Honorable multitude. It says criminal and civil penalties. It establishes, gotta work on my English, man. Especially if it's, sometimes you get tired of reading about these damn people. But hopefully it's edifying. It says establishes criminal penalties and creates a private right of action for an individual to sue election officials who register applicants without proper citizenship documentation. See? And then who's against this? NAACP, LDF. When they're usually behind a lot of this stuff, really just to stir up the spirits of black people and, basically in cahoots. Any action they have taken against political figures in political matters, they don't end up doing anything really. It just, they just fade back into the shadows, to another, controversial matter comes up, and then they stick their heads out. That's all they're there for, man. Then the black people are on a what do you call it? The racial tension is brewing across the country. So, and that'll rouse people up, the American bred people, the racist Southern people say, this is our land, go back to, they always put a go back to Africa card, which we're not Africans, we're Hebrew Israelites. That's one thing people are starting to realize, like, as much as they disagree with us, they're slowly, gradually dropping the black label and just calling us Hebrew Israelites. We've gotten that a couple of times from Edomites, or Edomite-looking people that's saying that, are you the Hebrew Israelites, instead of saying black. But, they do have that power to, you know, rouse that up. And really, the Most High wants to keep that tension because it's the tension between Esau and Jacob. That's what it really is. It's not black and white. So Most High is doing that too. Most High is doing some things up on the earth with Venezuela having earthquakes, flooded too. They got flooded. I think in Europe, 1,000 people died from heat, maybe even more. So it's a heat wave going across this place. I think this is just those are signs America about to be on fire, man, for real with the missiles. You know, Trump looking shabby. You know, it's all kind of stuff going on, man. But anyway, yeah, this is gonna trickle down into citizenship, man. Who is a real American or not? Who deserves to live on American soil or not? They probably got concentration camps outside, like right at outside the borders of America, you know, for people that don't belong or troublemakers, which they would call criminals. You have the National Defense Authorization Act. We talked about, the Apostle Elders talked about that all the time. Supporters. So, you know, they're trying to save America. They're trying to, you know, usher in this new world order, you know, reconstruct America, rebuild America, because they feel like they lost their grip a little bit, you know, and they're playing their victim as well as playing the bully. Like, why is everybody picking on us, hating on us? You know, coming over here, and we've taken many countries in, people of the countries in. They got Moab over here, Elam over here. They got Ham over here. You know, the Africans, Elam, the East Indians, and the Chinese, Japanese. They got all nations over here, basically. It says all nations have drunk of the wine of her fornication. So, you know, America's trying to play that good girl role. You know, she's a harlot, but she's trying to play that good girl role. Like, we are true, upstanding Americans, and we've helped people. We've helped, you know, save people from their countries, you know, with their countries being strict and having strict policies. We save them from that. We are, you know, passive. We are, you know, we are the country of freedom, of liberty, and justice for all. That's what they, you know, but nah, that's not, it's just the opposite. So, you know, go to the scriptures. It says you can't save what is destroyed. Nobody could save America, man. America's already destroyed, we keep saying. That's in 2nd Esdras 7:45. It says, then shall no man be able to save him that is destroyed, nor to oppress him that had gotten the victory. And that's what we're going to get. Most High willing, eventually get the victory where no man is going to be oppress us anymore. Because it talks about how has the oppressor ceased. That's that golden city. Let me see. It says, Isaiah 14:4, that thou shalt take up this proverb against the king of Babylon, and say, how has the oppressed ceased, the golden city ceased. This is the city of gold, America. This is a city, like the apostles always say, this is a place where you think city is as a region of a state, but everywhere you go, you have to have citizenship. Whether you know, southern states, up north, east, west, you have to have citizenship. So this is an all-out city, and the king of Babylon right now, modern day Babylon, is Trump, and he's talking most ish about everything. Threatening bomb, and America just got another threat from Iran. So Iran's talking big stuff. It said, "Let the weak say I'm strong, man." In the scriptures, meaning those weak countries that used to stay in the shadows and not talk so much, and America was the big bully everybody was afraid of. Well, not anymore. But anyway, I just want to get a couple of scriptures. It says, he that save his life shall lose his life. You could apply that to them. Let me see what it says on the 5th verse. Yep, the Lord hath broken the staff of the wicked, the scepter of the rulers. He who smote the people in wrath with a continual stroke, he that ruled the nations in anger is persecuted. You think this is one man ruling all the nations? What's his continual stroke, man? Like this, if you're dealing with one man, no, it's talking about America is persecuted and none hinder it. The whole earth is at rest and is quiet. They break forth into singing. This is, most highest operation, ultimately operation. And they're doing exactly what he wants them to do, and he said that they would do. They're about to, hone down on, trying to, control people with this Citizenship Act they call Save the American Act, Save America Act, trying to rebuild Rome, in a spiritual sense over here, last leg of Rome, trying to revitalize Babylon, because this is modern day Babylon. This is spiritual Sodom and Egypt. They're spiritually having those same kind of power effects of the old kingdoms into this one kingdom, and they're gonna try to be the superpower that there ever was. The greatest superpower that there ever was. That's what they want to be, and they want to be considered gods, exercising kingship, rulership. They don't call Trump a king, but he's definitely exercising king decisions. And but we already know where that royalty, royalty comes from us, Jacob. But you got over there on the other side in London and whatever have you. Those people like King Charles, Prince Charles, Queen Elizabeth, Prince Diana that once lived, Prince whoever, King, Princess, whatever. And and they trying to really do that here on a full scale, because the elites are kind of watching from their seat, like, her parents, but her parents are starting to, they're going to be confounded. But they're going to say, let's see what this woman is made of. And, they don't want to fail everybody. They don't want to, how they mocked Israel, and they said, look, everybody mock her and shit, she done went down. Well, they know, that feeling of being down or outcast, so to speak, by, failing people's expectations. Because America was supposed to be that on that level by now, kind of behind. So they want to bring it in, usher it in with that C help, man. Just the ultimate, like, yeah, we found the perfect thing to control everybody, to monitor everybody. Because when you monitor everybody, you could just, you know, sit on your ass and just be like, let the computer beast do it, system thing do it for you. And then you just, all you gotta do is pick people up and take them to prison. Because people will complain. They will complain of unjust laws and ways. So America does have to worry about backlash of the citizens in America. They have to worry about rebellion. So, you know, they don't, if they playing chess, they don't want to do that. They don't really want to ruffle no feathers yet till everything's in place, till they have all their military grounds covered and they could just come in. You know, they already got ISIS out there, you know, doing military drills. They're really drilling to see how it's going to go in full effect with martial law. And then they got, you know, they got SWAT teams and they got militias and all that. They got drones. They operating. They want to make sure their drones are in good operation. They want to make sure they can shoot and at demand or whatever, or, you know, searching the outskirts of those that try to escape the inner cities, you know, and live off the grid. Because if you live off the grid pretty soon in the near future, if you live off the grid, you're going to be considered as a target, like, or you know, as an outcast. Like, you know, they're going to really start focusing on setting borders around America, you know, trying to make it a fenced city. That's why Trump was talking about that wall. You know, but America is known as the city of unwalled villages. You know, anybody can really come in America. They talking about Iran is talking about attacks on the soil of America. Probably threatening America with, what do you call it, sleeper cells. Like, yeah, we already, you know, already got people in there that'll cause trouble to your land. Like, you know, back then they had the suicidal bombers. You know, you know, people were scared to go out to the mall. They were scared to go out to public places because somebody might have a bomb on them. Scared to take the bus. So when that happens, transportation stops. People get afraid. They don't move around so much. Businesses shut down. A lot of things. But, you know, that's just the beginning. I mean, these are the beginning of sorrows, like it said in the scriptures. Anyway, hope it's edifying. Till the next video. Shalom.